Welcome back to a new cooking video. Today I'm going to show you how to make a salmon sushi cake. Yes, you heard me correctly, a salmon cake. So let's get straight into this. Let's start with the prep work. Let's go. Alright, so for the first step, we're going to take a little bit of cornstarch and an equal amount of water and just mix that together until the lumps are gone. The amounts don't really matter, just have enough for 3 tablespoons. Now you're going to add 4 eggs into a bowl and add 3 tablespoons of your cornstarch mix, and this is going to make the eggs a little bit more stronger together, a little bit more liquid, so that you can create thinner egg omelets. So give that a little mix, and then once it's fully mixed up, try to make sure not to add any bubbles to it, so mix it in a way that doesn't add bubbles. And then you're going to take a hot pan, add a little bit of oil, and just spread that out with a tissue so you don't have a very thick layer of oil. You don't want a lot of oil in there, just a tiny amount. Now I'm going to add a splash of my eggs, move it around to make sure it's a very thin omelette, and then any excess you just want to drain it out. And this is the way to get nice and thin omelets. Now it's going to cook very quickly. As soon as the edges start to peel, then you're going to want to flip this over. So here we're just going to peel it off a little bit and pick it up and scoop it under and just flip it over. And then if it just creases like this, just spread it out, don't worry. And then just cook it a little bit more on this side, and it should be very quick. You shouldn't have to cook it very long. And then you're going to place it onto a cutting board. Now you're going to want to make several of these egg omelets and just stack them up. For showing here, I'm just going to do 2, but you can do 3, 4, maybe 5. Just roll it up like this, and then you're going to want to cut it. Now you can cut it into very thin slices or slightly thicker slices. Here I'm just going to cut it into about tagliatelle slices. It's a sort of pasta cut, and it just works. Now on a side note, you can use these as a sort of pasta if you don't want to use wheat. Obviously it's not the real same thing, but it's like a substitute. Now I'm just going to air them out like this, so unroll them. And there we go. We've got this beautiful filling that we're going to use for our sushi cake, but you can use this inside sushi rolls also. And you know, it's an interesting sort of thing. Now, moving on. Sashimi grade salmon. Now as you can see, there's lines here. We're going to cut at a 45-degree angle to that, and at a 45-degree angle to the fish. So slice it like this, and this gives you a very wide cut. Now I'm going to cut it about a little bit less than 1/5 of an inch thick. That's a little bit less than ½ centimeter. And you're just going to slice it in single swooping motions. You don't want to saw. That's why I'm using a very long sashimi knife here basically. And you just want to slice it across, and we're making very wide cuts because we want a lot of surface area to cover the outside of the cake. Okay, once you've cut your sashimi into slices, I recommend you move it into a Tupperware box and into the fridge until you're ready to use it. So pre-do this a little bit. Alright, so that was all the prep, or at least most of it. To make this recipe, you'll also need to know how to make sushi rice. For that, you can check out my website, makesushi.com. I'll link it in the description below. Or you can check out one of my other sushi rice making videos on YouTube. I'll also link that in the description below. I just don't add it to every sushi video I make because it would be way too repetitive since I've made hundreds of sushi videos. Anyway, moving forwards, let's assemble the sushi cake. Let's go. Okay, assembling your sushi cake. First take a cake mold. This one's 16 centimeters in diameter, and you're going to place some cling film into it so the salmon unsticks from it. And if there's any gap on the side because the cling film is too small, just add a little extra piece. Now you're going to want to take your salmon sashimi slices and just lay them in the base, overlapping each other by a tiny little amount. And then you're going to want to place them on the sidewalls as well. Now take your time with this and make sure to not have any gaps. Now you're going to want to place some cooked and seasoned sushi rice on top of your salmon, and just lay it very gently and pat it down, and just try to get a very uniform layer. Just add a little bit more there. Okay, once you've done that, you take some wasabi And with your finger, you just gently spread it across the sushi rice, making sure to get a nice good amount on there and covering it. Considering how big the cake is, you can put quite a lot of wasabi on there. Once you finish with the wasabi, you put some masago fish roe and you just spread it out again nice and gently across, making sure you have a good layer on there. Okay, now put this to the side and take half an avocado, and I'm just going to cut it up and fan it out. So for that, you're going to take a knife and just slice it into very, very thin slices, about 1-2 millimeters thick, and then you're going to spread it out. Now, if the avocado sticks to your knife as you go up and down, you can slice along, but it seems to work with this one. Now, spread it out, and now you've got a beautiful avocado fan that takes up a lot of surface area. You can place this onto your bed of masago. Now again, just make sure to cover it up evenly. So just take your avocado in small batches and just try to make sure you cover all the surface area. Okay, it seems like I'm going to need a little bit more. And there we go. Great. Now you're going to take a little bit more cooked and seasoned sushi rice and just again lay it on top, trying to make it cover all of it evenly. Now you just need a little bit more here and a little bit more there. Okay. Now you're going to take the egg noodles we prepared earlier and just layer them on top, trying to get a nice even coverage. You want to make sure that every slice of the cake has the same proportion of stuff. Okay, now we add some more sushi rice on top of that. And again, just take your time to make sure that it's all nice and evenly covered. There we go. Now at this stage, you're going to need to pat it down and press down the sushi cake. This is important to have the right compression. So just press it down nice and firmly. And then again, we're going to add a little bit of wasabi with our finger, just spreading it across the surface, just to make sure we have a nice coating of wasabi. Now you can put quite a lot because this is much bigger than a sushi roll. Now finally, we're going to add some nori on top. For this, you're going to take your nori sheet and just cut it to size with scissors. Just eyeball it. If you miss, you can always cut a little bit more off of it. This seems to be just about the right size. Perfect. Now you can place this cake in the fridge for a little bit so it sets a little bit better, or you can serve it straight away. Now just flip it around onto whatever you're going to present it on, and then just pull it up and the cake should just pop out. Look at that. Awesome salmon cake. Isn't that great? It just looks so beautiful. You don't even need any toppings. But I'm going to add some toppings. Okay, here I'm adding some black sesame seeds and followed by, of course, white sesame seeds. Can't have one without the other. Now I'm going to add some QP mayo. And I'm just going to add 6 little dots as markers. So I'm going to add 1 on each side, and then I'm going to put 2 on each side to balance that out. It's just to have nice separation between them, like cake slices. And then these markers, I'm going to make a little ring of QP mayo around it. And this is so the ring shows just outside of the little salmon rosettes I'm going to make later. So just do that across all the little dots. And once you've done that, then you can make the rosettes. Now for the rosettes, I'm taking some salmon and cutting it at a 45-degree angle, super thin. And then I'm going to roll it up. So it's super thin because I want them to be small. So here I've just rolled it up, and then I'm going to cut them in half. And this here is 2 little salmon rosettes. Tiny little things to go on top of the cake. There we go. Now you can place these on top of your cake. Now you just pop it on with some chopsticks just to line it up. There we go. Perfect. And then here's a little focus shot of it. Okay. Now just place the other 4 on. Okay, great. And if you need to, you can use chopsticks to spread them out a little bit. This one's a bit compressed. With a little bit of work, gently fan it out and it will look a lot better. Now you add a little bit of ikura, salmon roe, and be generous with this. Everybody loves a good bit of ikura on anything, so just put as much as you can. And Look at that. Isn't that an awesome salmon sushi cake? Ooh. Love to dig into that. Now to cut it, you want to gently and very softly cut into it with a sharp, thin knife. This Miyabi MCD 5000 does a great job at it. I really like these knives. I'll link it in the description. Just make sure your knife is very sharp and very thin. You shouldn't have too much of an issue cutting through this. Okay, and look at that. Sushi cake with layers. Isn't that awesome? Oh, look at that. Alright, so that is how you make a sushi cake. I hope you enjoyed this and I hope you give this a try. In my last video, I made a sushi pyramid and a lot of people asked me, how do you eat that? Well, you could eat this in the same way as you can eat that, in whatever way you want. If you want to use chopsticks, go ahead, use chopsticks. If you want to use a knife and fork, go crazy with that. You need a spoon, I'm not going to judge you. If you want to eat it with your hands, I'm not here to stop you. Do whatever you want, eat it however you like, just enjoy this and make it for someone. It'll be perfect for a birthday. Sushi cake, birthday, great combination. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to share this video, it really helps me out a lot. And hit that like button. Thank you for watching, see you in the next one. Goodbye.